Hi, so today we are going to do a story called The Hainsworth Hedgehog, written by Nicole Mary Drose. It was a tiny rainy day in Whisker Woods, but the creatures could not be found in their cozy homes. Instead, they gathered at the great tree because many of their homes were being chopped down. Their meeting went on, but in the end, no one could think of a way to stop the woodcutters. The creatures of Whisker Woods were upset. When they got back to their homes, they were even more upset. Rupert Raccoon was the first to find something missing. "Where are my rain boots?" he cried. "I've been raided." Rupert tripped over pots and pans looking for his rain boots, but all he found was a note that read, "I owe you." Percy Possum was also having troubles. "Where are my spectacles?" he cried. Percy felt every nook and cranny in his tunnel, but it was no use. All he felt was a note, and without spectacles he couldn't read it. In Oliver Owl's tree, the feathers were flying. "Drat!" he complained. "My books are missing." As Oliver dusted his bookshelf, he found a note that read, "I owe you." Oliver Owl swooped down into Hedgehog Hollow with a mighty shake of his feathers. "I have news. A cat burglar is among us, and his name is I O U." "I O U must be a code name," Rupert Raccoon exclaimed. "Maybe it stands for Itchy Orange Underpants," Percy Possum cried. "You must help us catch I O U, Hainsworth," the creatures cried. Hainsworth Hedgehog smiled. "I'll take the case." First, Hainsworth found his best detective tools. Next, Hainsworth spoke to each animal and made a list of the missing items. Then Hainsworth went to work. The only clues left behind were the notes signed by I O U. Hainsworth carefully dusted each note for prints. Itchy Orange Underpants is a small fellow. He's not a cat burglar, Hainsworth said to himself. "I can tell by his tiny paw prints." That night, Hainsworth mapped out Whisker Woods. He placed an X on each spot that IOU had visited. Hainsworth said. "I think I know where IOU will strike next." Hainsworth was a fine detective, indeed, and that night Hainsworth came up with a fine plan to trap Itchy Orange Underpants. The next morning, Hainsworth told the animals that he would be gone all day to work on the case of Itchy Orange Underpants. Later that day, Hainsworth returned to Hedgehog Hollow. He was greeted with a surprise. When he lifted the cover of his trap, he found none other than Patterson Pack Rat. Patterson was shaking like a leaf. "Patterson," said Hainsworth, "are you I O U?" "I am," the pack rat sniffled, "but I had a good reason. The letters I O U do not stand for Itchy Orange Underpants. They stand for I owe you. I was going to return things when my plan was done." Now Hainsworth was curious, so he called a meeting. Patterson led Hainsworth and other creatures to the great tree in Whisker Woods. But then Hainsworth saw what was behind the tree. He rolled into a ball. "My plan works," shouted Patterson Pack Rat. "I borrowed all of these things to create a giant monster to scare away the woodcutters and stop them from cutting down our homes." The creature The creatures could not believe their eyes. Then Patterson frowned. "I know it was wrong to take your things. I'm sorry. I will take this apart and return everything to you now." "It was wrong to take our things without asking," the creatures told Patterson. "But now that you have built this, we should see if it scares away the woodcutters." So the creatures of Whisker Woods waited for the woodcutters. The next morning, the woodcutters came to chop down the great tree. But then the woodcutters saw the giant monster. They ran from Whisker Woods, never to return. The creatures cheered. Hainsworth solved the case and their homes were saved. And now, when Patterson Packrat wants something, he asks first. Thank you.